Hi, Hope. This is Chris Yanchez with another installment of Share More Hope. This is something that Andrew started last week, and it's really our opportunity to speak into your lives about stuff that God's teaching us. And one of the things is that we want to encourage you to be able to share and empower you to share more hope with others. But one of the things we're going to talk about today is one of the ways that we can share more hope is by being filled with hope. Now, one of the ways that we can be filled with hope goes back to a verse that we've been talking about the past couple of Sundays, and you may have heard us talk about it, but it's this verse from John where Jesus is sharing advice, and he says, "If you remain in me and I remain in you, you will bear much fruit, but apart from me, you can do nothing." In this time right now, it is so important to remain with God, in God, abide in Him, and spend time with Him, because apart from Him, we can do nothing. Now, if you're anything like me, you probably are just getting bombarded by information, both from media, social media, friends, all that kind of stuff. And what happens is there comes a point, a saturation point, where we just can't take in any more information. And really at that point, we need to figure out, what is it that I'm going to let into my life? What am I going to turn up? And what am I going to turn down? Now, what I want to recommend to you is that in this time, we need to be mindful to turn down the information on media, social media, all that kind of stuff, not being uninformed, but just turn it down. And we need to turn up God. We need to give space for Him to work and to speak into our lives. The reason that this is super important is when you look at God's Word, it has so many different instructions about why it's important. In Psalm 119:11, it says this, "I have stored up your word in my heart that I might not sin against you." Now, I want you to think about that verse for a second, because what it's saying is there's a little bit of an equation. It's like if we take God's word, store it in our lives, that means think about it, memorize it, that we have it in there, that it has the potential to change the outcome of our lives. In particular, that we might not sin against God. Or put another way, is that we might not lose focus and dependence on God. Now, I want to share another verse with you, which is in that same psalm. We're going to go all the way down to verse 105, where it says this, "Your word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path." I want you to think about that. It's a really cool, another picture of God's word and how it illuminates. And right now, there's so much confusion and there's so much just different ways that we could go. But really, when we turn to God's word, it's a light unto our path. It gives us wisdom. It helps illuminate what the next steps are for us to take. So one of the things that I want to encourage you to do is that in this time, that maybe you have more time or less time, but the reality is that there's routines that have changed. And I want to encourage you to take up or start a new routine. And in this new routine, that it would be remaining in God.